Hello everyone, I am Chloe. I'm here at Oslo Innovation Week, and today I'm here with...
I'm Kathrine from the Norwegian Industrial Property Office.
Yes.
And I also have a background in the healthcare and health industry.
Chloe, the scientist.
Science is for everyone.
I'm a political scientist by background, so I do not have a biology or health care background, but dealing with how to build a competitive Norwegian industry, also with regards to health and health industry. But being a political scientist is not the worst things to be, actually.
Okay, so maybe let's start with how your journey from political science into healthcare and technology started.
Yes, so I've been interested in how to build industry, technology transfer, IP, actually been since I've finished my studies. I took my degree in how integrated the Norwegian research policy is into the EU system, and we are very, very integrated with the EU system when it comes to research. Anyway, one of the areas where Norway are doing very good and a lot of research is in health. But 20 years back, we were not that good at actually making industry out of the results coming out of research.
The commercialization.
Exactly. So that caught my eye, and I wanted to be part of that, let's call it a movement, pointing to areas where there are big needs for new products and solutions in order to save lives and give better healthcare system. And then making use or finding the research results that actually can come into or become into or develop into new products and solutions. That's been part of my main interest, I would say, for the last 20, 30 years.
Fascinating. And so what led you to, I mean, now you are in charge of the Norwegian Patent Office. How did you get to that position?
So first of all, the Norwegian Industrial Property Office is a public organization. We are reporting to the Ministry for Industry and Export. In order to be a successful company in healthcare, but in all other industries as well, you need to take care of your IP. You need to have a good IP strategy. And Norway being a very small country, 6 million, approximately 6 million people, we need to also, go export actually our products and solutions. We are, we are known for being a very raw material exporting country, fish, aluminium, oil and gas. That's where we are basically, leaning on when it comes to income to Norway of today. But in the future, also Norway needs to have new industry legs to stand on, and that needs to be technology and knowledge-driven solutions, basically. Yeah. So, and then the industry in Norway are not very much aware of the need for IP and IP strategy. So again, I guess I'm looking for opportunities where where can I actually do an effort, do difference together with a great team. And NIPO, 250 people, a great team. That's what we are working on in these days, to put it broad.
Okay, and so and the reason I was so interested to chat with you is when I've been chatting with other Norwegian researchers, they've been touching on this idea that your team, help scientists figure out and navigate how to commercialize their research and look at whether or not they can, what they're doing is patentable. And I'd love to hear a bit from your point of view how that came to be. Was that around before you started the patent? So you call it NIPO?
Yeah, that's
NIPO.
the short version.
NIPO. How that came to be at NIPO, was that something that you helped spearhead, or is that something that's been around for years?
So, in NIPO, we have approximately 150 researchers, and we have access to databases that are global, which means that a researcher can actually contact us and find out before the researcher and the TTO office maybe, which is in this building of the University of Oslo, before they start actually writing out the patent application. What have other people or other researchers or other companies actually patented in the area of what this researcher is doing? This has to do, of course, with whether you want to be have a competitive edge or not. And navigating what others have done also help you not stepping on others' IP, which you know as well is very important. So we use the knowledge of our researchers back in NIPO and the databases that we have access to actually do searches on behalf of the researchers. So before they actually finalize their patent applications, what are the blue ocean areas? Or what are the areas they should not go into because it's too crowded? These are so typically freedom to operate studies. These are things that we can do on behalf of the researchers before they're sending an application.
And is there any cost associated with this?
It is a cost, but at the same time, we are a public entity, so it's not it's a good investment.
Yeah, well, it's an incredible opportunity because my background being working in patent law for a couple of years, that's not something that I've heard of that the US PTO does. It's much more you need to work with a law firm to be able to get everything and really submit the application. And there are some law firms, of course, where you can do those the patent search is what you're saying to see if it's novel, to see if it's inventive beforehand. But it's going to be expensive and it's not run by the US government at all. So that's a really incredible resource.
Yeah, and what I would like to, I mean, since we're talking and you coming from US, we are doing this not only for Norwegian researchers and Norwegian companies, we are also an office for US companies, US researchers.
No way.
European, Asian, whatever, yes.
So say if there's a US company out there that's like, hey, I'm really interested, they could just reach out to you and
they can reach out to us. And also for mentioning that, so together with Icelandic IP office and the Danish IP office, we are running a company we call Nordic Patent Institutes.
Okay.
And that's basically the entry point for international companies and international researchers. It could be international law firms as well, or IP firms that would like to do these types of studies on behalf of the clients. So we are very much welcome to spread the word and to send them to us.
Wow, wow. And so with your experience working in IP, what do you say are you seeing a lot of applications in a certain sort of field right now, specifically in Norway?
Well, I mean, first of all, office in Norway, our office in Norway, NIPO, we are, I think I can say we're world known, maybe even recognized for being quite good in the oil and gas sector. So we have companies, US oil and gas companies, actually sending their patent applications to us and our office first. And one of the reasons for that is that our researchers are, of course, we are big in oil and gas because Norway are, having a big oil and gas industry, which also means that our patent examiners and researchers, they know the field very, very, very well. And this is actually still an area where we receive a lot of applications. Having said that, as you know, oil and gas is, about to decline.
Right.
So there are more and more applications, coming in other areas as well. It could be windmill, could be other green technology areas, but also health, which is the area I know best from my previous job. But that's an area also of growth. And I do not have the numbers in my head fully, but basically in general, this year, the application number are actually stepping up. More applications. So that is good to know. But again, Norway still being a quite raw material based country, but more and more applications coming into more technology driven areas as well.
What do you think is the biggest barrier at the minute for researchers to patent their research?
Maybe at least in Norway, it's the lack of knowledge of why is IP important. How should I or how could I build a professional IP strategy? These types of questions. IP is quite, it's a bit complex area. There's a lot to understand and to know. I'm not a researcher or an examiner myself. I'm a political scientist. I'm the kind of overall picture here. But really understanding the need for an IP strategy that is solid and that actually, which will also actually stay as a good strategy when you go abroad, that might be the biggest challenge. So that is one of the things and the areas that my office, NIPO, is working on. So today, during the Oslo Innovation Week, we are also having a seminar with regards to spreading the word of why IP is important.
Oh, when is that seminar?
It was this morning.
No way!
Yeah,
Oh, I was chatting with
yeah.
someone else this morning, otherwise I'd love to have
That's
gone.
fine. That's fine.
So actually touching on that, so you said that one of the opportunities you're doing is chatting about it in Oslo Innovation Week. What other ways are you interacting with either the research community or the public at large to get NIPO more on the map of everyday Norwegian residents?
Yeah, it's a good question. So right now we are in the Oslo Science Park. That's where you and I am sitting. And here we have something called the Growth House when it comes to health industry.
Okay.
We have several clusters being located here.
Yes.
We have accelerators and incubators. LEAP is the health incubator. Startup Lab is a very well-known incubator as well, an accelerator for a lot of different areas, industry areas. So anyway, we try to be both out there, so I have people from our office sitting here on a regular basis, being more accessible for all the researchers and the companies as well. And even if we have our headquarters here in Oslo at Helsfyr, we are also traveling to Bergen, traveling to Tromsø, traveling to Trondheim, to the big university cities basically in Norway, and having office hours there. So we try to do so once a month in order to be accessible to the companies, to startup companies, to researchers, but also actually to investors and others that, the patent information we also can gather on behalf of companies should also be of interest, for example, for investors.
Right.
So that's a group that we also are approaching.
Right. And something, as maybe this is for people who aren't as familiar with how various IP offices work in different countries, because Norway isn't actually part of the EU, which is something I only learned actually on this trip, because I know I'm always used to, say, if you've got a passport in, I don't know, the Netherlands, you're able to come here throughout, but that's a different system. How does it work? So say if someone goes through the patent application process here in Norway, and then they want to, get that same patent allowed in a European country, what's the process there? Maybe could you just high level, how would that work out for people?
Yeah, so, and specifically when it comes to patent applications, patents are complicated.
Yes.
So it would always be good to have an advisor. So like an IP patent company, bureau, that are helping them, advising them on what could be the potential markets for the product solution that you actually are developing. And where should you make sure that your patent applications are legitimate. So when you go to, or if you go through our office first, then you actually, as part of the patent application process, you also kind of point to what other markets would you make sure to have your patent been proven in. So first Norway, and then you point to the other markets, and then whether you go directly to one-on-one market or EPO, which is the European Patent Office, could also be very helpful in these types of processes. Okay. And of course, going to US, that's also, basically, more or less all countries over the world, 194 countries, is part of this system. That's a thing to be aware of as well. So this is a global system, and it works basically everywhere, more than less.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Fantastic. Well, I think those were all my questions for you. Did you have any questions for me?
Well, great to meet you.
Yeah.
And thank you for coming to Oslo and spreading the word. One thing is about Oslo and Norway and the industry here, but also actually spreading the word about the why IP is so crucial for companies, industry to scale and to go global.
Right.
So thank you.
It is also something because my background before this, I did my PhD in biochemistry, so in the academic setting, it was a very often held notion that professors didn't want to commercialize their research. It was almost like a step down, or they didn't really think, why should I be doing that? So you'd be doing experiments specifically to get in a Nature or Science paper, but you wouldn't be necessarily thinking about doing the experiments to help you go to the next step to commercialize that research. But ultimately, my take on this is all of academic research, eventually the next steps are to get it commercialized, because at the end of the day, you're just trying to help the public, right? Especially when you're talking about health and technology. The stuff you're doing, because I did basic cell biology research. And so it's very hard, especially when you're in the lab, windowless lab for 12 hours a day, working on a cell line. You get so honed in on a specific protein or pathway, you forget that this specific pathway is in humans, and that's what you're trying to end up treat. So I think it's really important to be able to talk more about how integral IP is and maybe make it a little less scary for academic researchers to start talking about it and how to commercialize it and spin it out. So yeah, really appreciate your time.
Yes,
Thank
same to
you.
Thank you.
Chloe, the scientist.
Science is for everyone.